Hi, everyone. Welcome to this new edition of our podcast, Cluster Talks. And today we have Anne Häner visiting us and ready to talk about everything that's happening on the automotive industry, which is happening a lot those days, especially in Europe, but I would say anywhere. Anne, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for accepting the invitation. I would say, why don't you start with a brief introduction about yourself and your cluster, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a project manager in the cluster mobility and logistics, which is located in Bavaria in the southeast of Germany. So we have a clear also regional focus here, located in the city of Regensburg, which is a very
Hmm.
beautiful World Heritage city. So always happy to host also people coming to our cluster.
Hmm.
And basically, the let's say one of the biggest values I say of the cluster is that we are part of the company Tech3x Regensburg, which is a subsidiary of the city. And
Hmm.
we are doing these networks like clusters, but also we are running the startup and innovation center here.
Oh, awesome.
So, in that sense, we're physically and also digitally connect the startups, the researchers, the companies, especially SMEs, and also the industry here in Regensburg, but also across Europe, which
Hmm.
that's why I'm here today.
Awesome, awesome.
From the topics, yeah, everything not only automotive related, but also mobility,
Ability.
logistics. Yeah,
Hmm.
so we're a little bit around the different sectors here.
Awesome. One of the things that we saw in our previous podcast is that the clusters are organized differently in any region or country. And in our case, for instance, we are 100% private entities. We do not have any connection from the administrative point of view with the administration. But of course, we talk with them and we interact with them a lot. But there are other models like yourself and many other clusters that we interviewed before that you use this model that you work with and for the government, and I think that's a great advantage. It has the pros and the cons, of course, but it's a great advantage. Let me ask you, how is the trendings on the automotive or and mobility in your region, because it's happening a lot of things here, and I will happily also share what's happening here in Catalonia. But let me ask you first, what's happening right now there? What are the hot topics that you're managing in the cluster?
So basically, let's say it's very difficult at the moment because when we go to the companies and also speak with them, we hear a lot about how they struggle.
Mm,
So I think everyone in the automotive industry who's reading the newspapers knows that there's a massive transformation going
mm,
on. That also the companies need to rethink how to do their business,
mm,
and so that's one of the biggest hurdles. Last week, I was in a meeting with a lot of leaders from the different automotive companies in our region, and they told me they cannot lead strategically at the moment because they're firefighters.
yeah,
We have a lot of fires going around, and they're
yeah,
just
absolutely.
going from one spot to the other. And that's actually also one of the biggest hurdles at the moment. And I think we're not that different from other European regions in that sense.
Hmm. Actually, yeah.
Why can I tell? Because we are also part of one European project, an Interreg project, Drive to Transform, where we've tried to benchmark the different regions in Central Europe.
Hmm.
And in the beginning, the people, for example, from Hungary or so, told us, in Bavaria, you have a strong automotive industry, and we want to see what best practices you have and
Hmm.
learn from you.
Yeah.
And during the project time, we experienced when the companies exchanged, okay, that's not that easy. And actually, we have a lot of common topics. On the one hand, through automation, through trends like AI, of course, the skills of
Hmm.
the people. are need to change. On the other hand, we see like the skill shortage, but on the other hand, also job losses.
Yeah.
So how people work in the companies, it's yeah transferring.
Hmm.
Also, consumer behavior is challenging because, of course, we all know the electric vehicles are a rising topic. But on the
Hmm.
other hand, through political insecurities, also the consumer
Yeah,
sometimes feels
regulations
struggling.
and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And also the adoption is, of course, also yeah dependent on how and where can I charge my electric vehicle. And then we had this first moment also in this project when a partner from South Tyrol was coming with his electric car, and he had so many struggles on his
Yeah,
way here.
yeah, yeah. I can
So
relate to
we
that. Yeah.
could in real life experience the challenges, but of course also this consumer adoption is one of the topics for the companies. Also on the technology side,
Hmm.
we see a lot of trends. Of course, I think everyone is talking about the hot topic AI and what's doing it for production, for our business model. I think we here in the region have this more as a big chance.
Hmm.
So we see the companies also from different angles, different perspectives are working together on this
Hmm.
topic. So that's why we have also in parallel for cluster mobility logistics the artificial intelligence Regensburg initiative cluster. So that's where we try to connect them also in cross-sectoral topics like AI. What we've seen also that the companies are thinking about what's coming next,
Hmm.
which technologies emerge, and which technologies might help us, for example, also with the hot topic of security.
Hmm.
And that's why we've built up a working group, for example, on quantum technology, so that the research, which is already working in this topic a lot, that
Hmm.
they can already give the first insights to the companies, what challenges might occur, but also which chances
Yeah,
does
yeah.
new technology bring. But yeah,
It's yeah.
so
There's a lot of things happening those days, and as you mentioned before, it's not that easy, or I would say that obvious, on how, where to focus your attention. Because from one side, as you mentioned, there's the day-to-day activity for most of our companies, especially the SMEs, right? They have to attend the day-to-day struggles and things that happening, and as you said, firefighters. But at the same time, there are things coming. The Chinese manufacturers, the AI. There's also the physical AI also coming with humanoids and everything, and there's really regulations here in Europe. There are popping and popping and popping every other day. It's happening right now. We have the IAA, right? The Industrial Accelerated Act that I think most of us were trying to understand where to set up the limits on the Industrial Accelerated Act. We talk a lot with our companies about that. We talk a lot with the administration about that as well. Actually, this afternoon I have a session with my administration to give them some feedback from our point of view, and 70%, local content is 70 too much, it's too low. What countries should be part of made in Europe, which
yeah.
is because we're discussing that as well. I think I was talking about that with some company owners a few days ago. It's a real challenge nowadays to be managing a company on the automotive and mobility sector, to be honest.
And when you, because you've asked like what are also challenges from our region, we actually discussed this topic also last week. We had an automotive and mobility security workshop,
Mm,
and then the companies discussed, and they were all like on the same page. In Germany and also Bavaria, we see a regulation or a new act or something, And then we do not try to have like 100%. We want to overdo it. And what we've seen that this is also causing problems, because of course then also not only on the the competition on the global scale, but also on the European scale, this
Mm-hmm.
is not always an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say made in Europe, of course, made in Europe is one of the yeah, one value what we would try to promote. And also then the discussion is coming up what's made in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
still made in Bavaria maybe. So yeah, I think a lot of discussions, and the companies understand more and more that they
Mm-hmm.
have also to work together in this European context to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
how, this is still a
On the
process.
way. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not easy. I had that discussion a few weeks ago with a working group about the 70% made in Europe. So what made in Europe means, because in our case, for instance, Morocco is very close to us, right? And also Turkey, we have many companies who has production plants in Turkey, for instance. And most of them, they do not start and finish the manufacturing process here inland, which means they do some processes to the component, they send it to the indie production plant, they do some manufacturing there, then send it back to here. So is this product made in Europe? What percentage of the product? It's on weight, it's on sales, it's on value. How do you manage the value? So I think the spirit behind the law that we are trying to approve is a good one, is the right one, probably. But as you mentioned, the how, it's not that easy to determine. And I think it's going to be a big challenge. And what worries most for me is that the fact that if the European Commission has some urgency to move on with that, it's not going to be do it right. And once it's done, to undone it and do it right, it's going to take even more time than the time we are taking right now. And at the same time, as you mentioned, of course, most of our companies, they are international companies. They have subsidiaries, they have the headquarters, maybe in Germany, maybe in Spain, maybe somewhere else. But they need to make decisions on investments, right? They need to invest in new machinery, they need to invest in new production plants. At the same time, I think both Germany and Spain, they are very attractive countries for foreign companies, like Chinese companies, Japanese companies, American companies, Canadian companies. They are thinking to come to Europe, and they look at Germany and Spain as the two biggest car manufacturers in Europe. So if they have to make decisions, they have to make investments, of course. They need to understand what's the law. And because we are going on still processing all this information, I think many investments are on standby right now. I don't know if it's something that's happening in Germany, but it's definitely happening in my region.
Of course, we also can see that, and also this real thinking about what competences do I have in Germany, in Regensburg, in Bavaria? What tasks will I do in the future, also still here? And what's going to happen maybe in another European country or also outside of Europe? So, of course, it's one of the big topics. And before, I haven't mentioned what was, for example, also one of the struggles in Germany. Of course, bureaucracy is always mentioned, but also the energy prices, for example. And here, what within the region, the city also tries to do to find solutions which help the companies. So, for example, we have, and it started just this year, a new solar plant next to the locations of, for example, Almovio, Scheffler, and others. And they created a local plan for PVs so that they
Hmm.
can use the energy directly locally to and connect it to their factories.
Mm.
So that
Awesome.
was done. I cannot tell the details because I'm not part of this project, but it shows that even on this local, regional level, also when the cities, proactively and also the companies understand that they have to work together,
Hmm.
then you can find solutions, even if it maybe seems in the first place a smaller solution, but it's starting. So
Okay.
you, of course, you can find also ways how to, for example, deal with this cost factor and the cost pressure. And that's I can tell because we had this strategy dialogue just some weeks ago, and there was the manager from Aumovio here, and she told us,
Hmm.
okay, energy is one of the cost pressures for the production, but with this new project, she also hopes that this is getting much better.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's also very important to still also think about how the region, how the European network can do something and not only to watch. Yeah.
Exactly. I think this is a big challenge. Let me ask you, what if you have to make it like a top three challenges for your companies in your region? Because I mean, there's a lot of them, and I think they are piling up one on top of the other one. I think for the last 4 or 5 years after the pandemic, right? I think we didn't have like a like a week or a month with a free challenge news or something happening. But let me ask you because okay, I will tell you later what are the what are mine, but I'm very curious to know what are the top challenges for your company. If you have to make a top three.
Oh, that's always difficult.
Ah, yeah.
But I I think I've already answered one in the beginning, that there are multiple transformations going on at the same
Mm,
time
mm.
and with a new speed. So
Technical transformation, you mean about the vehicle or the production plan?
both.
Both. Okay,
So
okay.
from the production plan, also from technology side, as you mentioned, robotics, AI, then you have some also new possibilities. Also transformation of regulations, of course. Also from the from the supplier side to think about how to maintain my current production while developing a new product,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
also to find a new market maybe. So diversification is also a hot topic at the moment. So I think that's yeah uh, to understand what is really important for my company. So sometimes not every topic is important for my company.
mm-hmm.
And then to prioritize, and this still in the uncertain time. So but that's the overall thing. To go into more detail, um, let's say, of course, also the changing value creation from hardware to software-based systems in the vehicles, which comes along also with security issues. That's, I think, one of the also challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And also what we've seen in, but that's not only automotive, that's also a mobility topic.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen coming from maybe a very good innovative topic from a new solution,
Mm-hmm.
which is piloted to then come into regular operation
Mm-hmm.
and to succeed. And here, just an example, we had also the problem, for example, when we have in the mobility, we are talking about, okay, you use AI, but then, of course, we are coming back to the data, and we've seen that this, for the companies itself, might not be the biggest issue. But when you, for example, talk about autonomous vehicles which
Hmm.
then need to be connected with infrastructure and so on, then we are still here having a big lack.
Yeah. I think it's a big challenge. For us, I would say there are definitely the three main topics. One of them is going to be the Chinese manufacturers. That's something we talk a lot about them. Um, we already have few of them here in Spain, as you probably know. In Catalonia, we have Cherry with his alliance joint venture with Evro. In the south, there's a Santana with a joint ventures or agreements. I think it's not a joint venture yet, but agreements with few manufacturers. It's been confirmed also in Galicia, which is north west in Spain. Also, SAIC with alliance with MG, and in Aragon, which is in the center east, we have also KTL with the manufacturing battery manufacturing plant. So we have a few of them already um, real materialized, but at the same time there's a lot of them going on. I'm interviewing a lot of the time, most of the time, with Chinese companies thinking to come here. I think the government here is doing I would say, quite good job on the relationships and yeah, international relationships with China, definitely. And but there's something that concerns and worries at some point some of my companies as well, because they are thinking on how are they gonna manage this transition. um, Chinese product nowadays is pretty good from the technical point of view, right? I think we can agree on that. Price, because many reasons that we can go deeper maybe later, but price for many reasons is cheaper than the European manufacturer vehicles. Most of the cases, not all of them, but most of the cases. And I think on the quality point of view, I think we also overcome the concern that Chinese products may not have enough quality. They look right now that they may do have enough quality. So it's that's one of the things. But at the same time, from the industrial point of view, the timings are quite different, right? We have a lot of engineering companies in our cluster, probably as well as you do, and the timings for the project developing, they are between half and one third of the times that we are used to here in Europe. And here in Europe, I would say we maybe we used to work more than a linear concept, like okay, first this, then this, then this. Chinese engineering companies, they work at the same time with many things and with some problems, of course, intrinsic problems, I would say. But at the same time, they're managing to the output to develop the same project in half the time that we are doing it right now, and that's a big challenge, to be honest, for the engineering companies that we have here in Europe, at least in our region. So how to work with the Chinese and how to manage relationships. Um, some people say that we should do the same that they did when we came there, when we went there. That the government uh, proposed or forced to establish some kind of joint venture with Chinese companies, so they make sure the technology transfer was a thing, that a concrete thing, right? But we are welcoming here without any obligation to go for these joint ventures with European companies. So we also learn some things about technological. They have technological advantage there. So, and I'm not sure Europe is it's going to be able to manage that, because too many, I mean, too many countries, too many point of views, and it's not. I mean, things are not working, and from the government point of view, like in China, so it's going to be a challenging thing. The how to work with and merge and establish relationships um, on the way the Chinese companies are coming here, because they are coming here to manufacture. Definitely, that's a fact. We have several examples, but I think that's something that's going to be increasing in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, probably. Yeah. So that is one of the things that we discuss a lot in our class, from my board of directors to working groups to, I don't know,
It's
everywhere, probably. Yeah. I don't know if it's a topic also for you guys.
so I haven't mentioned it, but yes, it's one of the also big topics to have this, yeah, innovation speed. And what we've also seen, and that's a big challenge, that in Germany and also Bavaria um, we export a lot. So that's not working that well for now. So of
Hmm.
course you also have to think about like how, like some people say, okay, the market there is already lost, so we have to find new solutions, new ways. But yeah, concretely, we in Regensburg we have, for example, also from the more political view, we have partnership, a partner city
Hmm.
in China, for example. And we've decided also, as we are the technology center in Regensburg, that we also offer them offices. And at the moment, I cannot tell how many, but we have some also automotive or automotive related companies from China who ended up here setting up an innovation lab or
Hmm.
office. And that's something I cannot already tell because it's kind of new how this working together will function in the future.
Hmm.
Of course, what we've seen, and that's more a human perspective, also, do they understand how our network here is working so that they have to come to our events, that they have or should connect, that our goal is really to create the right connection with the companies also here locally and to create innovation. And here for we need cooperation. Then of course the question also of IP rights is coming up, and how also the mentality between the companies from China, but also from the region
Hmm.
is. So we're maybe next year I can tell a little bit more about that, how it's working. But yeah, we haven't closed our doors. I think that's the message. But of course, each company will decide individually how they can connect, and also it depends on from the historical side how well connected have they been already with Chinese companies, or how important was the market for them. So
Hmm.
yeah, but from the innovation speed, of course, also questions came up. We've been talking about European
Hmm.
projects.
Yeah.
Is it working with the funding schemes?
Mm.
Is it working with the timeline of them? How to find funding also maybe from other sources to have this faster momentum? Yeah, those are also questions that are coming up.
Well,
How?
I would say I think European funding it's working nicely most of the time, but I 100% agree with you that the timings are not the Chinese timings. I mean, European projects to take 2 to 3 years to develop, five sometimes, and I'm not sure that's a privilege that we can allow anymore. To be honest, I understand that some things take time, but things are speeding up, and I'm concerned that maybe the speed that we have right now, it's going to be too slow in the near future. And even though sometimes it feels too quick, I feel like it's going to be too slow in the next few years. And I think that's something that we need to speed up somehow. And yeah, as you mentioned here, the AI, it can help a lot. I think it has a tremendous yeah, I would say play to do. Right now, what we are saying is in some engineering companies and especially in consultancy, AI is already a fact, something that they are using a lot. I have few companies, engineering companies, they are doing some kind of testing that when they receive an RFQ from the client, they put a small team to work as they already been doing for the last few years, 3, 4, 5, 10 people working there, and in a week or something like that, they have a project to present to the customer. And at the same time they're taking the AI, and with maybe 1, 2 engineers in the maybe 24, 48 hours, they have something very similar at the same time, so they compare it, and it's not huge difference. So I think there's a lot of opportunities with big challenges at the same time there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything plays out, right? And we are talking only about digital AI. As soon as we go to physical AI with the humanoids and everything, it's going to be, I think, a big revolution in our industry, especially because the automotive industry, mobility industry, is probably one of the most advanced on automation, right? Um, Industry 4.0 and many others had been highly implemented on the automotive industry. And right now we are looking into this hyper automatization as a way to keep the competitiveness of the European production plants. So I think it's going to be a big challenge there. And hmm, it's going to be very interesting to see how everything plays out. We it was like 3 weeks ago, I think, or a month ago, more or less. We did a webinar, the first one, talking about humanoids, right? Physical
Mhm.
AI, because it was a topic that we are very interested. Actually, this year we applied few projects for our government financing calls. Um, we present 4 projects. 3 of them are related to humanoids. So it's something that's really coming up, and we want to be there, try to understand the applications, the pros, the cons, so we can go together with our companies and explore it. We make a webinar. We made a
Mhm.
webinar. We found an expert on the topic. I'm not sure there are experts so far, but I would say very advanced knowledge people about that.
Mhm.
And we managed to okay, let's talk about that for an hour and a half and have some questions. There were 400 people in the webinar. It was amazing. I know most of them, let's say half of them, it's because they're just curious, but really, really companies are looking up to this solution for most of the challenges they have right now.
Was
Um, yeah.
I'm curious, was there a common sense for the status quo of which use cases they would use the
Um,
humanoids?
yeah,
Because that's
right
always the
now,
question, technology
yeah,
wise,
yeah,
but
yeah.
where to use it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now, most of the applications are quite basic. I would say mostly on logistics, right? So in the production line, just moving big things, packages, big components, something like that. And I have few videos. I want to send it to you later, or I will ask Alina to share it with you. But it's quite interesting. And as far as we understood on the webinar, right now they are working on let's say fine or delicate moving things to be able to assemble and manage things. But the hands, they're not too much developed so far, and it's very interesting, but it's because it's not really a technological, a mechanical thing of the hands, because right now there are available some hands with temperature sensors, pressure sensors, something like that. But it's more a training thing. Right now, the accept common knowledge says that for one of these physical AI to learn a new action, a new movement to be done, they need between 3 and 5 thousand hours of practice. Okay, so right now it's more like a practicing thing. to practice, so they do it right, more than the technical thing to be developed. So as far as I know, China is pushing a lot in that direction. I mean, you know, they have labor problems from the point of number of available people there. So they're looking at this as a solution for the demographical challenge they are facing from the industrial point of view. And I think for Europe, it's going to be probably a quite interesting solution as well, for similar and for different reasons, of course. But it's going there. So far, most of the applications are just, as I mentioned, big things, logistics, big things. Take a package, put it there, turn the package, put all the labels top, something like that. Very, very basic things. But there
I,
was at the end of the webinar a suggestion that the speaker made. I found it very useful, and was to he suggests, okay, buy one. If you cannot buy a human thing, buy a dog thing, you know. But the most important thing for him was get your people used to it, right? So do not wait to the last version to introduce it to your manufacturing plan, because it's going to be also like it's social thing to learn to work on a production plan with some machine there, or human machine there. So get used to it. Get the dog. The dogs, I think they're not that expensive, like 4 or 5 thousand euros, something like that. So he suggests just buy one and get it in your production plan. Only, I don't know, for inspection or some basic thing that the dog can do, but get your employees used to see a machine doing things there. And I think it's a good suggestion, a good recommendation there.
I, I like that idea, and also actually I came across it also uh, already last year, because I've mentioned the project in the Central European context, and we've been in exchange with the Hungarian cluster organization, and they told us that they bought one for
Okay.
themselves. It was not from the automotive topic, but in the end, it was more about the idea that even a cluster could buy something and buy one to first, of course, also when you have conferences, working group meetings, and so on, to
Mm,
have it and to show it, and so that the first step is done. But of course, then the bigger question is to find more value. Of course, the companies would need it themselves, but I think it's very important to take this new technologies, new solutions, and bring the right people together, as you've done it
mm,
in your webinar. We're doing, that's why I was asking also from the logistics perspective. We're having a intralogistics conference every 2 years, and this year the main topic will be also on robotics. So not only
absolutely.
humanoid, but also we have a lot of also companies here in the region who are very successful with AGVs and so on.
Mm,
So of course, each region has their own ideas,
yeah, yeah,
but
absolutely.
for me, it would be very also interesting to see this also the other ideas that came across in your webinar. But yes, to have this like a first version and not to wait till others maybe already develop the 100% solution. This is
Mm.
really, really good. And it also shows the limits and the right uses for it.
Hmm, hmm. I think it was a good suggestion, because at the end of the day, there's going to be, I don't know, maybe it makes sense that they have a human form, a human morphic, yeah, but maybe you don't need it. Maybe you only need like the hands, or 8 hands, 4 hands, I don't know, one hand doing things. At the end of the day, the concept, of course, it's very mediatic, right? To have something that looks like a human, but it's a machine. But for the production point of view, what you need is a robot like the ones we already have, and just integrate the AI there, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it looks or not like a dog or like a human, or it has two hands or eight hands, I don't know, or 10 arms, whatever. I think that the most important thing is the integration, because if I don't know in your class, but in our case, we've been using AI for the last, I would say, 2 3 years, and it helped a lot to improve our process, especially applying to projects, reading information, summarizing, etc. There are many applications that we found there. If we try to think that the same thing is going to happen on the physical aspect, on the production process, many things are going to change. And I think that's going to be a revolution, with the pros and the cons of a revolution, meaning that, of course, it's going to be a big step for the companies, 100%. We will be able probably to reduce production times, because, I mean, it's a machine. You can make it work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you want. So it's going to be an improvement there, probably also on a quality point of view,
Yes.
because there are improvements to be done there as well, probably on speed, maybe I don't know, maybe not at the very beginning, probably with some time. But it's going to be also social revolution, because um, same as right now it's happening on consultancy, and it start to happening in engineering, the many many works, many jobs that used to have, you have some internship people doing it, something like that. Right now you have AI, right? But if you don't have internship, you're not gonna have some juniors, and then you don't have seniors there, right? So it's going to be a social challenge at the same time, to see, okay, let's put some machines to do that, but later on, who's going to manage that, right now we have some engineering people who can supervise and say if it's right or wrong. But in 10 years, 20 years, if we do not know how to do it, who's going to supervise that? So I think it's a big challenge as well, not only in the present, not only in the technical point of view, but in the even in the evolutionary point of view. And I'm very curious about that as well.
We've also seen that, but for when it comes to automation, it can be through AI or others technologies. It also showed that some of the plans are more efficient, effective, and more value creating, in a sense, because we have a high costs of employees in
Mm,
Germany.
mm,
So of course, you always have to see also as the company where to use the people, and where they create the biggest value.
mm,
And what we've seen, and maybe I can show a little example which shows also how a network here can support those
mm,
things. We have here in the region, for example, the company Webasto, a supplier which is setting up a new battery production line.
mm,
And for that, they needed a partner who is setting up the production line with them. And through an event that we've been organizing, they met another company from the region, and they've seen, okay, cooperating with them brings a lot of value. Maybe in the first place, they're more expensive. I don't know, maybe.
mm,
But over the project lifetime, it's still cheaper, because when we have a Chinese company and they have to fly 10 times to Germany, then we have language barriers, we have other problems, cultural topics. So the local arrangement was set up. They
makes more
decided to do.
sense.
And then, of course, also the question about the people was coming up. And here we have it also as a success story, because it's very nice to see. We've seen in another congress, the company Webasto met the it's called Eckert Schools in German in Regensburg, and they are now also setting up a new training module for the high voltage battery production.
Mm-hmm.
So I would see that as a also a good, yeah, to promote this, and also a good way to bring the people from the companies on this, to take them on this journey of
Mm-hmm.
change.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in the best case, it's working through the different corporations on this region, also on higher level. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but of course, people are asking when we automate this production line, what's happening with me, and I think it would be not right to say, of course, every employee who was doing the one production stop at a time is now the next manager for something else. But of course, and here also European projects are helping, or also other projects. We as a cluster and also the regions, we can support with skills training, also identifying which are the new skills they are needing. For example, in humanoid robotics and AI, how which training programs need to be set up, and then especially SMEs who are maybe not having the time and the money to set those things up only for themselves, to support them with projects and so on. And that's what we are actually also doing at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and trying in this way to support. And yeah, trying our best, right? In both regions.
Absolutely, and it's not easy nowadays. I would say, because as we mentioned at the very beginning, there's a lot of topics on the table right now. Companies need to prioritize and manage to balance the day-to-day firefighting activity, as you mentioned, with some perspective on what's happening and what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest in this technology or that technology, and you definitely cannot wait until the technology is fully developed, but probably at that point you're already late there. So
Yeah.
I think it's a big challenge as a cluster. I think we, both entities, we try to help companies to prioritize, to understand, to manage, to make decisions at the end of the day, right? And it's I think it's a big challenge, a nice challenge, I'm going to say, but big anyways. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So, and big things on the table. I would say, if you have any webinars or whatever, or working groups with AI, physical AI, I think we can do some joint things there, because we are planning a few of them as well. And I think it's a very common topic that we have. We have a lot of German companies in our classes, so it's gonna be like being home for you guys and for us guys. So I think we could do that, and definitely, I think I'm looking forward to apply some European projects related with the physical AI. No, definitely, because I think is a thing, a big thing that's happening, a big solution for the situation that we have, especially the one we will have in the next few years. So we need to anticipate them and have them to get some vision on the next steps they have to take. Right?
I would be very happy to cooperate on this, and
Okay.
I can already give you a hint. We are
Mm-hmm.
also starting, like we had this very more general automotive project, and now we're taking the next step to see also cross-sectoral, but also to have a look at the new technologies, as you've mentioned, also physical
Mm-hmm.
AI, robotics. And we are definitely organizing here some events, conference maybe, and we would be happy to cooperate here. And I would also invite you to our next conference, which is not located in Regensburg, but in our neighboring country in Austria. We
Mm-hmm.
will be on the 22nd and 23rd of September in Linz.
Okay.
And it's all about automotive transformation, electrification, autonomous
Mm.
driving. And we are bringing the different European partners and companies together. And we are
Hmm.
also having some company visits, which might be very interesting. So
Mm.
I'm
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, send us some
promoting.
information. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Elena or myself, we can go there, and maybe we join with some companies that could be interesting as well. Yeah, send us information. Going to be very, very interesting.
I do that.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Anne, for this time. I think it was a nice talking to you. We did definitely need to repeat this conversation in a year, because I think in a year is going to be many things already happen, and it's going to be nice to have a new picture on the mobility and automotive industry. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Definitely. There are more topics to talk about. Thank you, Joseph.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Take care and see you soon. Okay, bye, guys.